Hey everybody, this is Pete A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions doing today's intro. Our episode today is fantastic. John Leon Guerrero sits with world-famous percussionist Juan Escovedo. You've probably heard of his sister Sheila E. Juan's family is known throughout the world for playing all things percussion. Drums, conga, timbales, everything. Juan specializes in the percussion side of things. He plays the congas primarily, and he and John talk about rhythm and grooves and how Juan found his spot within his very talented family to play the conga. Now, here's the thing. When you look at building a podcast, we get asked all the time, how do you get such great guests? How are we talking to the Escovedos? And believe me, this is just one of the whole family. We're going to get everybody. Here's what we do. First off, way back when, John played a gig with Juan, so they have musical roots. They've been in a band together. And then when we first got started, we're at Dwayne Wiggins' place. Dwayne is episode 6. So when we're there, we had just done a deal with him to record our episodes at his studio. And so there's Juan sitting there, and they're going to be doing some kind of practice for an event or something. We've got nothing to do with this. Next thing you know, John is behind the drum kit, Juan is playing congas, and the groove gets going. Juan says yes. This is years ago. Yes to being on the Break It Down show. Well, we finally got it. That's how you get guests. You're persistent, you ask, you go to places, you get involved. This is such a great conversation. You guys are going to love it. And if you happen to listen to this show in the next couple of days, make sure you get down to Yoshi's on Monday because it's Juan's 60th birthday party. And if you love music, seeing live music at Yoshi's on Juan's birthday, that's just too good to be true. But in this case, it is. Hey, everybody, thank you so much. Seriously, you guys are my friends. John and I love doing this for you guys. We're so proud of this episode. Enjoy.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay
This
Moore.
is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland.
I'm Mindy Abair.
This is Andy Summers.
Hi, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Mick Gillette.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hi, this is Juan Escovedo, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
That's right. Juan Escovedo has made a long and illustrious career as a percussionist for acts like Prince, Lionel Richie, Hall & Oates, Barry White, MC Hammer, En Vogue, Tony, Patti LaBelle, Herbie Hancock. Man, the list goes on and on, which is to say nothing of the fact that he is an Escovedo, which makes you are the oldest son in what many and myself would consider the first family of percussion.
Right.
So let's talk about being a percussionist, because we've had a lot of drummers on the show, but really not a lot of percussionists.
Okay.
And it's a different job.
It is different.
I would say, I'm going to go first and then let you really tell me how it works.
Okay.
The drummer is really responsible for driving the song, holding together the tempo, and making sure that the groove lives and breathes and works for everybody. The percussionist has that responsibility, but has the added and maybe even wider responsibility of providing color and texture.
Exactly right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing, what I look for or listen for is when I do listen to the drummer a lot, because off his snare, if he's playing busy, I have to watch what I'm playing, because I don't want to step on his toes. If he's holding the groove with the bass player and stuff, we want to add, percussionists should add flavor and spice to the rhythms and the groove. And it really depends on what instrument you play, too. Some guys will play too loud, too much stuff over the drummer, and it depends on where the song goes. Like, there's a lot of hand percussion stuff that adds so much to a song that you don't have to play a conga pattern or even a bell pattern. Just a shaker, cabasa, or chimes, or little. Sometimes you just stay away from what they're playing, and you just add during the chorus or the bridge of a song. You add something, but it's really important to listen, like you said, the drummer, and see what he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you start off with as little as possible?
Well, it depends who I'm playing with. And if you have a lead singer, you really want to make the song feel full at certain parts of the song. And you want to sometimes just stay away and sometimes there's a need for the notes of the congas. That's why sometimes I play 2 congas, 3, sometimes just 1.
Yeah.
It depends on the groove and the tone and what the song is and who the artist is. More Latin music, you can be a little more busier, especially if it's just you playing timbales and congas. But if you have timbale player, conga player, bongo player, you have a part to play, and you don't want step on anybody's toes, because now you have a drummer, conga, timbale, and bongos. So there are licks and stuff to add to each part of the phrase, 8-bar phrase or whatever, 16-bar phrase, and you don't want to all 3 of you play a lick right at the same time.
Yeah.
So you that's where rehearsals and stuff come in, and knowledge of musicians. That's why I really believe that when you get at a certain level, you're not paying them for just their style too, but also the knowledge they have and years of playing. Like, you could be at the same gig and some guys that come and play, and they're, some of them get the same money, but I believe if you're bringing a lot to the table, say your name, your artist, you have CDs out, you should get more money because your knowledge is there, and you play cleaner, you play, like I say, with more knowledge. So that makes it different.
A veteran presence.
It is.
And it makes a difference in the rest of what's going on.
Yes.
Years and years ago, you and I played together. I brought you onto a gig where we got horribly underpaid. You came anyway and brought all that wisdom. And you said something to me one time. I know it was the most forgettable gig you ever played and one of the most unforgettable gigs I played. But I remember one time when we were in the middle of rehearsal, I was playing something and then we were coming back in and I had to bring us back in. And at some point, you just looked at me and said, "Let that breathe, man." And that simple gesture really informed so much of the way that I heard music after that, because I just understood that it wasn't just about keeping the time. It was about communicating in a way that affected everybody.
Right.
And that it could breathe.
Right.
So for our listeners, number one, look Juan Escovedo up and watch as many YouTube videos as you can, because one of the things that we want our listeners to all know is that you're turning 60 pretty soon. You're having a birthday party at Yoshi's coming up.
Yes, that's March 11th, which is a Monday, and it's an 8 o'clock show.
Okay, let me tell you something, everybody. Give me a minute with our listeners, Juan. To go out to Yoshi's on a Monday night, that's going to show your lady you really love her. Okay, so fellas, take your lady out. And if you are not already Latino, you know that there's few experiences that you're going to enjoy more than Latin love. And if you want to get it started at Yoshi's on March 11th, Monday night, and go see Juan Escovedo. You have a cast of characters coming with you.
I do.
You got Ray Oviedo,
right?
Leah Tysse. Who else is playing?
Tony Lindsay from Santana, lead singer for 25 years.
Many years.
Yeah.
Is he the longest tenured lead singer of Santana? I think he might be.
He might be.
And but that Monday night he's singing with you. Who else you got?
Tony Flores, who played with Bobby Womack for 35 years, percussion player.
Yeah.
His brother Mio Flores,
who
plays with the Whispers now, and he has his own band out, and he's always busy, and he plays with El Chicano.
Man, shout out to the Funky Latin Orchestra, though.
Yeah, that's a good band.
That is a good band. I love that band,
We just don't play
too.
enough.
Yeah, I would love to see you guys play more.
Yeah, James Henry.
Okay.
A percussionist, play with Narder Michael Walden. He does all the Narder's recordings, the sessions, and all the stuff that Narder been producing for years. He's a great percussionist. A lot of these guys, they are from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, there's a lot of talent out here. And I could have hired more percussion players, but these are guys I grew up with.
Yeah.
So I've known them since we were kids. So we can feed off each other and listen to each other, without having to say too much.
Right. You got the shorthand of doing all those miles together.
Yeah, we still to play together in different bands and stuff. So, and then I have Peter Horvath on piano from Layla Hathaway.
Mm-hmm. Amazing piano player.
He is. He has his own CDs out. So does Leah.
Yeah.
Tony Lindsay, his first CD is out, and I think it's number 1 on the charts. It's doing really good.
Wow.
So these are amazing musicians.
Amazing musicians.
Yeah.
Leah is the soloist at Glide Memorial Church.
That's right.
Among many other things that she does, she stays busy.
She is so busy.
But she's amazing.
I mean, with that talent,
Yeah, you can't hold it back.
You can't mess up with Leah.
Leah Tysse has been on the show, and for our listeners who've heard that episode, I'm sure you enjoyed it. She's not only a wonderful singer and just a terrific contributor and co-conspirator as a musician, but for those of you who are not familiar with Leah, she is the soloist at the Glide Memorial Church, the iconic, legendary Glide Memorial Church, and she's a white girl. She's bad. So check her out.
You said she's white because she doesn't sound white.
No, I have to punctuate that for our audience because they're going to be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, what that voice.
It's something to walk into Glide and to garnish the respect of your peers at Glide. Mm-hmm. It's like you got to go in there and prove yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, and prove that you're not an appropriator and that you're genuine and that you really got the stuff. Mm-hmm. And she has done that, and that's why she's so busy.
And it's always good to hire musicians that you have fun with, that you like to be around. And Leah's one of those persons that as soon as you see her, your whole vibe changes. Yeah. It's nice to be
She's
around
a walking
her.
happiness.
She is.
You play with her in a lot of different situations, too.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Because she could do it all. You know, she could sing any type of music, and she's always professional. She's always on time. She knows the songs. And same with all the band members I hire. Like I said, I grew up with them. And there's a lot of guys that, really close friends that I wish they had it together because I would hire them. But
the music business is full of that.
It's full of guys that not on time.
Wonderful talents.
Wonderful talent.
Can't get started.
Yeah, you don't rehearse, you don't learn the songs. It's like, I don't want to use that person.
Yeah.
Even though they're a great player and you've known them for years and you want to say yeah, and they ask you, why you don't hire me?
Because I need my gig to be a success, and I don't know if you're going to be there. Man.
That's it.
The funny thing
you don't want to hurt their feelings.
And right, and maybe that they're not hearing that enough because when you have that kind of talent, you still do get hired. People hire you in spite of
that's true.
Every other bad habit. If you were working an office job and you couldn't show up on time, you wouldn't work there very long.
That's it.
But when you are just a monster on the bass or whatever instrument if you're choosing, somebody's going to hire you because they're like, okay, let's just hope he shows up on time because, man, if he does, it's going to be worth it.
But also there's bands that the whole band is not on time.
Yeah.
So it works for him. There's bands that club owners is a business, and if you hire bands that come in late and the owner's like, or the manager's like, where's the rest of the band? I don't know, they're coming, and it makes the band, who's going to hire that band again? You know, and that's why they wonder why they're not gigging.
Words of wisdom from a veteran musician who's got 40 plus years in. Let's see, you're going to be 60.
Yeah.
You started when you were playing professionally about age 14. Did you say that's right?
13, 14.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So you got,
I guess that's when you get paid,
you got
right?
36 years in the game. And the important thing is, first of all, you got to show up on time.
That's it.
The recurring theme among artists on this show, regardless of the art form, whether it's music or, directors, authors, whatever, the thing that, and this is the actor's thing, but they always say, my job is to show up on time, hit my mark, and tell the truth.
But show up on time means come early, to me.
Yeah.
If they say 4, I'm there at 3:30. Uh-huh. Because you don't know where the parking is. You don't know how long it's going to take to unload your equipment.
Right.
Tune-ups. There's always something that's going to delay you. Right?
Always something.
Yeah, so you keep that in mind. And you are there at 4, but you're still not ready.
Right.
That's on you, because you should know if you're a drummer, it's going to take you longer. If you're a horn player, you could be there at 4, and you're ready to go.
Right.
So
Walk
you have,
up, take your piccolo out of your pocket.
That's it. Or your harmonica.
Man.
So I know it's going to take me longer.
Yeah.
So I'm there earlier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So of all the percussion that you're going to have at your birthday party, I will say you're primarily, although you play all of the percussion instruments and you hear all of the percussion voices and you're expressive and all of that stuff, you're primarily a conga player.
Yes. Because growing up, I played with my father first. So he played timbales. And my sister, Sheila E, played congas. So what was left were the bongos. So I was playing bongos for years. But I always played, of course, congas, timbales, drums. Because, they were there at the house. And piano and stuff. So,
but you had to get in where you fit in, though.
Exactly. Do I want the gig? Yeah. So what's left?
Okay, I'm playing bongos.
So I'm a bongo player.
Yeah.
But then when Sheila left and did other gigs, I moved to the conga drum. And then I was sitting there for years, and because my father played timbales.
Right.
And then my brother was playing drums. So, we were
So
set.
everybody was just getting in where they fit in.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then now I just fell in love with conga. I love the drums. I love hitting them, the tone, the rhythms.
They have a very special voice. A warmth.
It talked to me every time I play. It's like, your instrument. I mean, there's people that play a bunch of instruments, but there's one that just fills your heart up. And that's the conga.
And that's
drum.
it for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the last time I saw Funky Latin Orchestra, and you know this, but again, it's for the listeners, you had Rich Iguan on the drums. My favorite drummer. I love him.
From the Whispers.
Yeah.
And Hammer Tour. We toured together
Wonderful
with Hammer.
friend. Yes.
And Billy Johnson. There was two Billy Johnsons from Mays, Frank and Beverly and Mays.
Yep.
2 drummers, myself, 2 percussion players, but there were 18 singers.
About 55 dancers.
55 dancers.
A whole bus of dancers.
Man, it was during the tour.
Yeah.
It was the Too Legit tour. And I'm walking around.
This was the tour, ladies and gentlemen, where Hammer was the biggest thing on the planet Earth.
Yes.
And you guys went to, if I remember correctly, you went to 186 countries, and that tour was 13 months long. You guys were gone for greater than a year.
Yes.
And you went to countries that aren't countries anymore.
Right.
So how did you do on that tour, like in terms of your accommodations and stuff? Because when Rich has been on the show a couple times, and when he was on the show, he said, yeah, man, there were some of us who had been around a little longer.
Right.
And so we would say, okay, listen, I want to do the tour, and this is what I need, and this is where I'm going to have my stuff ready for cartage. I need my own room.
Yes.
Did you get your own room?
Yes.
This is what happens when you're a veteran and you have a reputation of showing up on time, ladies and gentlemen. You get your own room for 13 months.
First thing they said, okay, this is going to be your roommate. I said, roommate? I'm too old. No, I don't need a roommate. But then you realize there's 100 people on tour.
Right.
I get it, but I'm
They
not
gotta
one of
put
those.
everybody somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Let the kids sort that out.
Let them deal with it.
Yeah. So that was one of the tour dynamics that, when you ask questions about the things like the tour, there's always the big things that you imagine happens on the road and the big places that you play and the, huge audiences and stuff. But then it comes back to, yeah, man, I have my own room.
Yeah, that's very important because when you're on tour, you're living with that person. It's a room. It's not a house.
Yeah.
There's
room.
no other rooms. So when you're on tour and you're having problems with that person or they're having problems with whatever, and you take that into a room, and then you have to perform, and you're dealing with his stuff, my stuff, in one room for, like you said, we're on tour for a year, and you have to deal with this stuff. It's like, no, you need your own privacy, your own room, to just collect your own thoughts even.
Yeah.
So,
you got 300 shows to play that year.
Oh, man. And one time we played straight every night for like 3 or 4 weeks, no day off.
Man.
And that's when I think he was in money trouble. And we're just playing every single night. We get on the plane, we get off, we go straight to sound check, rehearsal, do the show, plane or the bus.
That's where you sleep.
Oh, man.
Get
and
to
then
the
you
next
wake
town,
up.
do it over again.
Do it over nonstop. It it was a lot of work.
Man.
But luckily I wasn't 60 then, so
a little younger, a little more pliable.
more energy back then.
Man.
But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Who was the other percussionist on that tour?
You know, her name is Lisa. I think it was Lisa. Yeah, she was actually one of the dancers, I think.
Okay.
At first. And then,
but she didn't stick around playing percussion in the Bay Area after that.
No, she was.
Otherwise, you'd still know her.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in, a long time.
Yeah.
But she was in the commercials and videos as a dancer.
Okay.
So she would play the 808 drum pads and
Yeah.
stuff, and I would play the real, percussion stuff, congas, timbales and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was mostly a dancer.
Okay. That was a big big tour. That was the biggest thing on earth that year.
Oh, and when it started, okay, this is how bad it was. It was TLC, Jodeci,
Jodeci,
Boys of Men, and us. And they all were just coming out with their first CD.
Kids, all of them.
Man, so, they all hit number one with their song, TLC, Jodeci, Boys of Men. Mm-hmm. It was the biggest tour. Oh, it was so much fun, though.
Yeah, I bet. Have you maintained relationships with many of your colleagues that you met on that tour? Because I know you came to that tour having known a bunch of the other people on tour.
Yeah, I knew a couple of them. Yeah, actually, a lot of the singers are from the Bay Area, so I even do shows with them here and there.
Yeah.
But Boys and Men, the drummer, I know him for a little while, but yeah, some of the other guys you just don't see.
Yeah.
Or they, get married or they settle down or pursue their own career and just, they're busy too. So
that was one of the things that was like a boon for musicians in the Bay Area. There's just a lot of guys like you and Rich and Billy and stuff. Melvin Carter, rest in peace, who, did that tour and just did very well for their families.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that kept the eyes focused on the Bay Area in terms of music for a while. So when you tour now, I imagine that you're doing, of course, shorter tours than that.
Yeah.
And touring with acts that are a little more mature and sort of more, I don't want to say subdued, but like my friend Brian Dunn plays drums for Hall & Oates.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, man, this is the greatest gig ever because they don't want to work that hard.
Right.
Everybody's they're not so young that they need to do 300 shows.
That's the thing. We're getting older. Mm-hmm. You don't have to work as hard. You work smarter.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the little gigs. The pay is really good.
Audiences have a little more disposable income.
Right.
And so, I mean, people who are coming to your birthday party, again, audience, go to the birthday party.
When is it? I forgot.
It's March 11th.
That's it. Yeah.
Monday night.
Monday.
Man, fellas, how often your lady treats you nice on a Monday night? Go out and treat your lady nice on a Monday night.
Yeah, go to church Sunday. Pray to get all that out. Go to bed early.
Rest up. Yeah.
Because the next day is the show.
Call in sick on Tuesday.
There you go.
And then you go out to a place like Yoshi's. You're going to have a beautiful dinner.
Right.
You're going to have great entertainment. The seats are going to be comfortable.
Yes.
Accommodating. There's not a bad seat in that whole place.
That's true.
Man, that place is beautiful.
And we're going to mix up the songs, so it's going to be very exciting. Like I said, I hired a bunch of percussion players, but people are going to come in and out of each song. It's not going to be everybody on stage. It's going to be like a show, where one song is different from the next one coming up.
Okay.
I'm going to really mix it up with the singing, the percussion, like I said, and instrumental stuff. It's just going to be, you're not going to know what's next. It's going to be so much fun.
And it's all veteran percussionists. So just like you said at the beginning, everybody doesn't want to play everything all at the same time.
Yeah, but they can't.
Everybody's going to be tasteful.
This is my night.
They're going to walk into a situation. They're going to contribute to the situation in a way that's going to help everybody enjoy themselves. And then they're going to step back.
Walk away.
Let it breathe.
Get off the stage. I'm done with you.
Okay. So now let's rewind and go back to 14-year-old Juan just starting to play. You come from a musical family. You guys are touring all over the place. But, I read your pops' book.
Yes.
My Life in the Key of E. Go get it. It's a good book. Mm-hmm. Man, I read it in a week. I couldn't put it down. I read it in a weekend.
I know. My wife did that.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah. She took a very vivid life and captured it in a real and relatable way. And you were the oldest sibling in that situation. So as I was reading that book,
Well, Sheila's older.
Sheila's older.
Yeah, let's get that clear.
Well, I thought you were the firstborn for some reason.
No.
I didn't. I
The
thought she
male
was after
of
you.
the
But you're
oldest
the
male.
oldest son.
Son.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sheila's a lot older than just a year.
that's cool.
She's just a year older.
Still, in that situation, your folks were old enough to be going through a life, but you were old enough to be observing this life and taking part in this life. And it
Right.
was a dynamic life. And, there were struggles and you guys had to pull together and make it happen. But it wasn't like they could shelter you from, you guys moved around and they couldn't shelter you from the real world. And then, Sheila's emergence in the music industry just made it so that everybody was exposed to this supernatural life.
Right.
You guys experienced a familial life together that really, if you weren't each, I don't know what word I'm looking for, healthy probably.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't have such a healthy environment, such a loving home,
Correct.
there was enough going on that a pursuit like music will break most people and certainly most families.
And I've seen it done.
Yeah.
I mean, we
absolutely.
even know about the Jacksons and a lot of
Sure.
DeBarge family. There's a lot of there's more families that are all musicians, or at least two or three that do work together, and you see the breakdown when I watch Unsung, and you see all the stuff that these bands or even families go through.
I always think, why isn't there an unsung about the Escovedos? Oh,
No, we did it.
Because they all still love each other. No, you guys did one?
We did one.
Okay.
But it wasn't all the drama.
It didn't have the sad stories of the...
No, because that's not who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we had our own individual problems and things, but it wasn't so big that it drew us away from each other in our music.
Yeah.
We still today we play together. But the fun part is, man, we get paid to travel and be around the family, and we love each other. So we like being around each other. We love being on stage. It makes us happy because it reminds us when we were younger playing. So it wasn't even about the money. It was about having fun.
Yeah.
Because all my uncles, my Uncle Coke, Uncle Phil, my Uncle Alejandro Escovedo. So a lot of them growing up, and I still Fast Eddie is here, and Tommy Jr., mother, cousins, Cheverez. We all still play together. It's fun. It's something we enjoy. So when you do it for the love of music and all the happiness, not all, but a lot of it comes from the music and playing and being on stage and stuff. How would you not together?
Yeah.
How would you not want to keep doing that? It doesn't, when people break up, it's just all this other drama. To us, it brings us closer together. So we love it. It's just something we grew up doing.
And it's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. It's fun
And you
to
could
watch.
tell we're not faking it. Some people, you could see them on stage like no eye contact, no, you could see them, you could see their problems on their stage when they perform, some people.
Yep.
But us, we're backstage laughing, having fun. Backstage is fun for us.
Yeah.
And rehearsals and the work you put in,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a bossy person to get things done. You don't have to, because there's some bands, you see guys yelling at band members, even on stage. It's like, what's the purpose of that? It's like, if you want the best from your musician and stuff, if you just respect them, they respect you and they'll do their job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Rehearsal. Rehearsal is where all the fun happens. And again, this is a sidebar for our listeners. I have to take a sidebar for our listeners because they listen to these way inside conversations, and I have to give some context. Rehearsal is where musicians get to have fun and take chances and go for that fill that you haven't quite worked out, and you want to make sure you land it right. And am I coming back in on one if I stick this the right way or whatever? That's the time for that. And when you land those brilliant things, it's almost like, I don't want to say this in a weird way, it's like a joke. Like when you see somebody land that, you just got to start laughing and you go, dang, man, you came back out of that.
Right.
That was really nice. And when you see that happen, and then when you see collaborations, and, you know, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to see you guys in sound check and situations like that. And like your brother, Peter Mike, I saw him do a sound check one time where you guys were working on something and somebody had updated sheet music on something. A part had changed. And he was going over the parts, and then somebody played the old part, and he was like, that was really nice. It was the wrong part, but it was nice. And that's where all the laughs happen, and that's where all the stuff, you know, all the vibing happens there.
Because when you have the charts, and then you have different musicians, because, you know, some of them will leave and come back or whatever they're doing, and they're reading the chart that's there, but when you're in the band for a while, you put in your own feeling, your own, you know, the foundation is there.
Yeah.
But you could put your own vibe into it. So, and some of them will mark on the music sheets, you know, they'll change this and that, or their own personal little notes. So they have that. So then when you get a new guy come in or a sub, you know, somebody can't make it, the original guy, a sub will come in, and he'll play it just like the charts. And you go, wow, this feels weird. That's the way we used to do it.
And you forgot about it because it hasn't been played like that in a long time.
Yeah, and the whole feel changed, you know, because now this guy, wherever he came from, or all the knowledge he has is bringing it to the our band, but his flavor is different than the guy we had. So that's another thing that changes.
Yeah.
You know, when my brother can't do a show, we get another drummer.
Yeah.
The whole vibe changes. The whole, and even I don't have to, but I change a little bit with the drummer.
Sure.
And before I'm feeling it one way because my brother plays his, say, a samba different than the other guy.
Okay.
So now I have to change.
Yeah, because the samba's different.
The samba's different. Even the
different
6/8
grace notes, places, or whatever.
Yes.
And then for some parts, maybe you feel that burden of I got to carry it through this change.
I have to follow him. He's the drummer. He's the foundation of the song, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm changing my rhythm a little more to fit him.
Yep.
So it together it feels good.
It's just like bringing a different girl to the dance. You're going to compliment her differently.
Yeah.
Speaking of dance, come to Yoshi's on March 11th, everybody. It's a Monday night. It's Juan Escovedo's 60th birthday.
Right. But 60 is the new 30. Is that right?
If looking at you, I just heard David Lee Roth on the Joe Rogan show, and he said, I'm 64, and my doctor told me that 64 is the new 90.
Well, I'm glad I'm not 90.
In your case, man, you're doing you've been living well.
That's
been living
funny.
well. You got a new young son.
I do.
You have a bright young family.
Right.
And
he's playing. He's 4.
Oh, man.
And in my front room, I keep the congas out, a lot of hand percussion
That's just
stuff.
furniture.
It is. Keyboards, I have like 6 keyboards, bass, horns, everything all in one corner. And just like us, my father didn't teach us to play. We started playing.
Yeah.
And then when we took it seriously enough, he would show us the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
So I learned from him with even my other son, Juan Jr., J.A.I., the Prophet. He has a CD out. He's a rapper. But I didn't teach him till later. So my son...
his birthday was yesterday, huh? And,
so he just had a birthday.
Yeah.
So my son that's 4, going around the house. I have like harmonica, little, toys. And he'll just start playing, and I'm like, man, he has rhythm. Or I'm watching videos, or I have music on. Mm-hmm. He'll dance on time. You could feel it in his body. I mean, I could see it, like he's gifted already.
He can feel it.
Man, and then he'll come by the congas and just slap them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where did he get that slap from? Maybe his daddy, I'm hoping.
I'm hoping. Yeah.
And then one time I was booking a gig. I was on the phone, and I was practicing. So the congas are right in front of me, and I'm booking this gig, in between practicing. And then my son comes. He goes, "Pop, pop!" He's slapping the drums. I'm like, "Shh, this is business." I'm trying to tell him, like, be quiet.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, who? Oh, I'm sorry, you're teaching. I said, no, that's my son. He's 4. He goes, that slap was from a 4-year-old?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, wow. So he he has it. And then, and like I said, I don't teach him. I just let him play.
Yeah.
So it's like a toy,
He's
another
just
toy.
communicating, yeah.
They're just toys for him. And he's playing, and then I'll start practicing, and he'll sit on my lap. Daddy, show me something new. Show me something, you haven't showed me.
Yeah.
So I'll do, clowning around, do an elbow thing, whatever. And then he'll do it. And I'm like, man, and he'll practice it. And I'll just let him be.
Yeah.
So, music is fun. It's not supposed to be a lot of work. I mean, it is work too.
Yeah.
But have fun.
It's work when you achieve a level of seriousness where it's
Right.
like it's time to really get to this, and you have a musical responsibility.
Right.
But to get there, it
Right.
first has to be
Has to be fun. I mean, it's you're there first for yourself, I believe.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy it, and then the audience could feed off of that. And you could tell sometimes when musicians are playing and they're angry, or even on sessions. I mean, if you listen to some of these different people's CDs and stuff, you could kind of tell if they're happy that day or angry, or you could. It comes through the music. To me, I could feel it.
Sure.
So, when you play and you're at a good place,
Yeah.
I believe that's what makes great music, and you can feel it through CDs. Because people always say, what makes a hit? How do you know you have a hit? Well, you just play what you enjoy, and then it comes out,
Yeah.
and you hire the right musicians that can help you. You can't do it by yourself. I always rely on my band members for ideas, even the set list, different. My father does the same thing because that's how we were raised.
Yeah.
My father
It's
said,
a collaboration.
yeah, my father said, Sheila, me, and my brother, what do you feel about this song? And then we'll sit there and discuss it, just one song, and then we'll go, oh yeah, because first I might say, man, I don't think we should play that song. But when I start listening to my brother, father,
Yeah.
or sister, and then I go, oh, that would work. So you have to, talk about it. If you want it to really work, or because we can't all be right. Right.
All the time.
All the time. So it's good to collaborate with your band members and get their feeling of it. you know? Yeah.
So what about when it comes to these situations where you have the responsibility of hiring people, just like you did with your birthday party? It's like you have a long list of folks you can collaborate with.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to choose wisely. And beyond, I know that guy's going to show up because you've reached a place in your career where everybody who's working with you is going to show up. Everybody who's consistently working with you. You know Ray's going to show up. You know Tony's going to show up. You know all of that. When you think about the musical choices you're going to make at a birthday party, you know, how is it going to inform, like, ooh, I need to hire this person? Did you make choices based on the fact that, no, it's my birthday, I need to have a good time on this day? You know?
That's a good question, because even last week I was listening to this song and I said, and that person came to my head, I need to hire this person. So I'm still adding to the show.
Yeah.
But
just based on that happiness.
Yeah. And what's missing.
Yeah.
And the songs I'm choosing for the show. So, but it always starts out with your main, there's always a right-hand man.
Your core group.
Yeah. And that's Ray Oviedo, who helps me a lot.
Okay.
And then Phil Hawkins on drums, great. I can always rely on him, his ideas, and a bass player or a piano player. So usually I have the main three guys, and then from that I'll build from that.
Yeah.
Like listening to the songs, like what's missing? Who should I hire as a singer for this one? Mm-hmm. Girl or a guy?
And it helps to have a nice big Rolodex.
It does.
Like you've developed.
Yeah. And we're always talking on the phone about different stuff, or they're hiring me for work. So it's people that I already work with that you don't have to say, learn this, do this, because they're already at that level. You just tell them, you know, what song we're doing, and I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Either you know it or you need to learn it, or it's up to you how you sound when you come to the show. I know they're going to do their job.
Right.
You know.
And besides that, there's a shorthand on stage that's like football players calling an audible when you've played with somebody a long time. You know where the quarterback's eyes are going to be like, I need to get his attention now because I'm about to shake this cornerback or whatever.
Right.
And you know, you and Ray is like he's like an old master who lives in a mountain cave. By now, he's been playing music so long and been playing music with your family so long.
Right.
You could just look at him one way and he'll be like, I'm
That's the thing.
I'm right there.
See, he doesn't have to stand next to me.
Yeah.
He's on the other side of the stage, and I'm playing, and I'll just lean over, and he knows where I'm going next.
Yeah.
Or I look at him and look at another, or the bass player, and the Ray would know, okay, Juan wants the bass player to take a solo next.
Yeah.
So he knows to break it down because he's controlling the other side of the stage. I'm doing my side. So
That's nice.
yeah. So I don't have to yell over, because sometimes even though you have the songs and you rehearsed it, you're on stage. So I might feel something different.
Yeah.
And it's nice to just look at Ray and say, this is what I want to do right here.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, oh, it's not in the charts, or it's not, some guys like, what is it? And freak out.
Or even, oh, I missed it.
Yeah. Don't freak out, homie. This is what I do. This is what I like about music.
Yeah.
Let it go somewhere else. So I look at Ray and he'll go, and I could see him telling the guys on that side, he wants piano solo, or we're going to the top. We're going to skip a solo. Even sometimes the song just feels too long.
Yeah. We're just going to bring it home.
We'll just bring it home. Let the lead singer, let's take it to the next chorus. And I just look at Ray and he'll know, and we'll just end the song.
Yeah.
Because it's too long. So all that stuff just works when you have the right guy next to you.
Man. So when you're in a dynamic like on that great big tour with Hammer, or you were on the Purple Rain tour too, weren't you?
Yes, right after the movie.
Holy cow.
That was crazy.
That had to be bananas.
And Sheila just did a Glamorous Life. Oh, yeah. It was
That was one of those convergences. Like you couldn't have planned it better than Glamorous Life coming right on the, and Purple Rain coming together and touring at the same time.
Nice. And the thing is, Sheila and Prince did that song, the whole CD.
Yeah.
Both of them. So she didn't have a band.
Yeah.
And then she said she was going to do a video for the single, Glamorous Life. So, of course, she's going to call, not of course, but I'm glad she did. She called her family.
Right.
So we're going to be there on time.
Uh-huh.
So, my brother was playing the clarinet
Hair
solo.
whipped up and everything.
Hair whipped up, dyed.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what color that was.
Ruffles. What else you need?
And then
You were coming through.
We came through. And then Zena played guitar, my younger sister.
Uh-huh.
I was on piano.
Does she play guitar really?
No, heck no. No.
But she played guitar in the video.
She did. I don't even know.
That
She knew
guitar
what
may or may not have had strings on it.
I think it had strings. They're just out of
Might
key.
have been fishing line.
But she didn't. I'm sure she didn't even know how to put on a guitar.
Uh-huh.
What's this? It's a
She's
strap.
coming through for her sister, though.
She did. It goes around your neck. Just put your hand here and dance and,
And
act
start
like
dancing.
Act like you've been doing it for 30 years.
Right.
So we're good actors, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even really think to touch on the fact that you have been in several movies.
Yes.
To include Crush Groove, and that's the most obvious one. But what else?
We did Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes.
That
Ford
was-
Fairlane.
And Crush Groove, and then there's what's that? Shoot, there's another one we did with the was a Latin.
But you're always sort of yourself, man. Would you consider
Always
taking
ourselves.
on a dramatic role in a movie?
Heck no.
Oh, okay.
I could play dead if like if somebody shot me. I could.
Maybe not dying, but already dead.
Yeah,
we just need you to lie down.
I could lay down and I could do that part.
We're
but-
gonna put this makeup on you so you have a bullet hole.
and act
Just
like I'm
stay
not
still.
breathing. I could do that. Just hold my breath.
Okay.
Yeah, but the acting, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to try, but
Let's go back to that Purple Rain tour, though.
Yeah.
Because, man, I've seen videos from that stage show was just off the hook. And then it would just be percussion. And you guys would just bust it wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I'm sure you exposed an audience, a young audience, to something that they had never seen
Mm-hmm.
before doing that. That had to be fulfilling.
it was. But the thing is, Prince loved percussion. He came, my father, I believe, met him first. He used to come to Santana rehearsal. The piano player was teaching Prince some stuff. I think it was 15, 16. And then my father met him, and then Prince used to come to the house. So one time when I first met him, he came to the house. You know, he had back then was back in now, torn jeans and all that. So this is in the early, maybe 79, 80.
Yeah.
But he had torn pants and shirt, and he came to the door, and my sister said, you know, this is Prince. And he didn't look like a prince to me because he had torn pants. And I said, Prince of what? This boy looked like homeless. He's a prince? And I said, that's not your real name. He goes, no, it is. I said, you're a prince. Your name Prince? He goes, yes. I said, all right. So, because there's always musicians coming over.
Yeah.
You know, they got these fake
And everybody
names.
brings up a
Everybody, you know, plays. Everybody's great. They come to the house.
I once had a dude say, yeah, man, my name is Darnell, but they call me Delicious. So just call me Delicious.
I don't
and I
wanna
was
call
like, I'm not calling you
You
Delicious.
delicious. I'm going to call you D.
Negative. That's not happening.
Right.
Anyway.
So, yeah. So he came over. Like I said, we always had instruments out. So he came over. He got on drums, percussion, playing piano, but you know, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this guy is good. And then that's when his solo album came out, his CD.
Yeah.
And then he opened up for Rick James at remember the Circle Star?
Yeah, the Circle Star, right.
And then he came over and hung out after that and stuff. So Sheila and them became, you know, good friends and stuff. And then, like I said, she did the Glamorous Life CD. We did the video. And then Prince said, you need a band, you know. So she hired me and Eddie Am, Steph Burns, guitar, Benny, that Refill that plays with Santana now, Benny, Carl Pedazzo,
Yeah.
Susie Davis, and then later on,
That's a band.
Yeah, later on, Levi Caesar came in,
Okay.
and
So that's how he came into the Prince circle. Was he
through
first
Sheila,
in
and
Sheila's
so
band.
did Raphael Sadiq. Well, back then was Ray Wiggins, and then we had this band, and we rehearsed in Minneapolis for months in the snow. It was so cold out there.
Man.
It was, and we rehearsed at the Coliseum, like that's where we rehearsed first, you know, in the studio thing. But we like, this is rehearsal, and we're at the Coliseum because they had just built the stage for the tour.
Wow.
And that door in the back with trucks and stuff going, you know, the snow
Would open, yeah.
And I got
it'd
the
be
flu.
20 below.
Oh, I was so sick. And Prince said, you got to come to rehearsal. I'm like, homie, I got the flu. It's cold. It's snowing.
I'm about to die.
I'm in the bed sweating. You have to come to rehearsal. I'm like, I'll come if there's a doctor there. Okay. Well, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to get in the snow with the flu, sweating. Went to rehearsal. They gave me a shot or something. Didn't help. But I still got on stage. And because they were working on the lights. That day, it's like.
It was a tech rehearsal. So
yeah, so I had to jump off the stage, go on the front. So the light crew had to follow me.
Right.
You know, so they was adjusting all the lights. So
they
I
had to
be
practice
there.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and they had 2 stages to build. So when we rehearse, when we go to the next show, there's already a stage being built for the next day.
So they had 2 sets leapfrogging.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the other one would break down and go to the third show.
Third city, yeah.
So they had 2 stages. And the crew, man, they work so hard. I feel bad for them. Some of them guys that they don't really sleep. They just people don't give them enough props. They work so hard.
Yeah.
You know, to build a stage and load up.
Grab a couple hours on the bus in between stuff.
Yeah.
And then wake up and break it down and set it up all over again.
But they do have, you know, the union, and they do hire people in each city that can load up the trucks. But they're guys that has to.
Yeah, there's technical expertise that has to follow the show from town to town. You can't hire that out.
Yeah, and it has to be perfect because, you know, the stage can fall apart. There's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, safety. There's a lot of electrical stuff that has to be right. And people for a tour that size, those tickets, people save up to go to that.
They do.
You got to make it worth it. And so, the whole concept of showing up on time and all of that comes into play. The rest of that, though, I wanted to make sure was show up on time, hit your mark, which of course is important if the lighting guys practiced for you to be there. And then the last one is tell the truth. Show up on time, hit your mark, tell the truth. That's what every great actor says. I got to do that before I do anything else. And so it's the same, musically speaking, you're vibing when you get to just tell the truth. You don't have to, you're not trying too hard. You're not trying to make up for somebody's shortcomings. You don't have a roommate you're pissed off at because you've been locked in a room with them for 30 cities. All of these things become important for that reason. When somebody's counting on you and they've spent all their money and they're bringing somebody special to that show and it's going to be, that's an event in their life.
It is.
And if you put it that way, you're turning 60 years old.
On what day, Yoshi?
I believe it was March 11th. That's a Monday night.
That is a Monday. Yeah.
You know what's nice on a Monday night, listeners? Love. Go get you some Latin love on a Monday night.
Ooh, yes.
That's at Yoshi's in Oakland. Tickets are very reasonably priced, and dinner is wonderful.
Yeah.
So go early.
And park in the parking lot next door.
Next door. They got a parking garage that's like 5 stories. So there's plenty of parking.
Yeah.
And it is right next door. So go see this show. Where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. If you think about this, in your career, which now spans 46, 47 years, think of how many, I don't know if you've ever done this, think of how many somebody's special night of their life you played. Have you ever thought about that? Because, there are people who say, I'll never forget that night. That's the night I proposed to my wife. That's the night I went on my first date with my husband. That's the night all kinds of events in a person's life that had really, you had no thought of, had no idea about. But when you consider how many shows you've played to how many people you've played to, there are tens, hundreds of thousands of special events in someone's life that you probably didn't even realize you played at.
But when you prepare for a show, even though it does pop in my head, you're so concerned about doing your part to make it special. I'm thinking about, the songs, the stuff we have to do. Me, if I focus on all that other stuff,
you get lost in that.
I'll get lost. But when it's over, man, it's great to hear. I like, we go out, we sign CDs and T-shirts or whatever we have, merchandise. But when you get to talk to the audience and they'll say, or I saw your father, years back, and that's when we was on our honeymoon, or, you hear all these detailed stuff, or playing with Sheila, they saw my sister or my brother or me. Then you realize how much you given, you know, and it is special to hear, and that's why some artists will play, they get in a car and they leave or go home or hotel. I like to hang out because I love hearing those stories and connecting with the people.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized, what we've been doing and what we still do. And you only get that by talking to them or coming out to, hang out with them and stuff. So, that's when you realize, like you said, all the people that came to the shows and what you do for them. Because even for myself, I go see bands and they do that for me too.
Yeah.
I sit there and go, man, I remember when I first saw Earth, Wind & Fire or Stevie Wonder. Now I'm playing with them.
Yeah.
That's crazy when you're growing up and the Commodores, and then we end up playing with Lionel Richie, and it's like, man, this is stuff I studied to learn how to play. Tito Puente, and then get to play with Tito later on. It was amazing. Giovanni. All these guys, you admire.
Yeah.
And then later on, you're like, wow. First it's like, man, I just met them. I just met this artist that I love their music. And the next thing you know, you're playing next to them. And that's like a blessing when that happens. It's crazy.
I just recorded an episode with Claytoven. And I said, man, tell me the craziest NAMM show story. And he said he was at this booth and they had just brought back the Fender Rhodes.
Oh.
And he sat down and he was playing and he was like, man, this feels really good. And he was enjoying himself and he's closed his eyes and he was playing Golden Lady by Stevie Wonder.
Oh.
And he was just playing. And then like he backed off and he heard somebody kind of take over and play. And then he was playing with him and he looked over, opened his eyes, and it was Stevie.
Wow.
And he was like, oh,
Wow.
man.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
That is a crazy story. But yeah, I mean, it kind of goes along with that where you have listened to people all of your life. They're a part of your musical development, a part of your life events, and then you get to play with them.
Like Raul, like that happened to Clay Tobin is like, Raul Rico, that, Santana first Malo, Sapo, and Malo, and, and then he got the gig with Santana. Like Raul was like amazing conga player, like just strong and just solid and always smiling. Every time I see him play, he was just a happy guy.
Yeah.
So to see that, and then when I met him and then started playing next to him, it's just a dream come true. It's just like, and you feel the vibe and stuff. So, yeah, that's what I love about music too. 'Cause you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
One day you're in the garage, and you're just sitting down and playing their music, learning their chops, all their notes, and then later on, you're playing with them. It's just amazing. Music, you never know where it's going to take you. What city, who you're going to play with. But the main thing, and even to be real, like when we travel and we check into a hotel and there's a lobby, a band that's in the lobby, some of them guys are better than who you play
you
with.
see some smoking musicians.
Man. I mean, amazing. And I'm like, what's the difference between them and me? It's like, it's the business.
Yeah.
Music business comes first.
Yeah.
It seems like now. I mean, of course, you have to be a great musician, but that guy, like, he I talk to him or something in the lobby. I would, maybe sit in, but, they're 5 days a week, and that's all they have. Even though they're happy, some may be, some may not be, but would they ever get past that? It's like, the difference is my father and family, we hooked up with the right people. And being in, 6 hour flight from L.A., where, a lot of the business is, and in Oakland, there's a lot of great musicians. You just think about it sometimes. You're like, man, I'm going to my suite, and I'm making all this money. And you look at the guy in the lobby that's just as talented, if not better.
He's making $100.
Making
He's doing that
$100
five nights a week.
Yeah, and people walk by him, and the only difference is because they see us on the big stage, you're supposed to be better, or we're paying all this money. That guy just as good as me.
Yeah,
in the lobby. So
that happened in San Diego recently. I walked in on this band and they were playing at this just little like coffee house. I mean, it was a restaurant, but it was like real coffee house feel. It was really small. And that band was just, man, they were so good. And you look at these guys and you go, they seem like they're enjoying themselves.
Right.
There's a lot of cats out there who, like I know a guy in Benicia, his name is Stacy Starkweather. He's a bass player, amazing bass player. Could play with anybody.
Right.
He's a teacher. And he's dedicated his life to teaching, and he's making a mark that way and just playing as much as he can and playing amazing music, but, has chosen to dedicate his life to teaching. And so God bless him. Thank you for doing that.
And I teach sometimes, too, through Elevate Oakland, which is a foundation through Sheila.
Okay.
To bring music back into the Oakland public schools.
Oh, my goodness. Is that necessary?
Yeah. It's called Elevate Oakland, and we teach at
I saw you guys did a fundraiser over the summer.
Yeah.
And Eddie played, and the whole band came back together, really.
Right. Yeah. And we donate, the company we endorse, like now with LP, but Toka and Zildjian cymbals and sticks, Remo, they donated a lot of their percussion stuff to the schools that we teach.
Wow.
So they didn't have to come up with any money, and then we're hired to go in there. Leah does it. Talking about Leah Tysse, she does it, vocal lessons. But we bring in musicians, Malacio, Mandaluyo, which is playing with me too
Okay.
at Yoshi. He comes in and he teaches horn stuff, and I teach percussion. So, we're always trying to get back to, the music and the schools.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me just take inventory here because it's been over an hour.
Wait, when am I playing? Wait a minute, at Yoshi's. Let me see.
I think it's March 11th.
March 11th.
If I remember correctly.
Is that a Monday?
It's Monday.
It's a Monday. Is it 8 o'clock show?
Is it an 8 o'clock show? I believe it's 8 o'clock.
I think
It's
it's
at Yoshi's,
8 o'clock.
right on Jack
But
London
you want to
Square.
be there early.
Hey, you do want to be there early, and
To
guess
park.
what?
You have to park.
Get dressed up.
Dress up.
Get dressed up, man.
Yeah.
Make it a night.
Make it
on
a night.
Monday.
Monday.
Do it. Monday night. Juan Escovedo will be 60 years old.
Woo.
He's annoying. He looks like he's 36.
Yeah.
And,
Must be dark in here.
you're going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy yourself. This show is a long time coming. I'm going to just say this for Eddie's benefit because he's sitting here.
Eddie Chevrolet.
When I started doing this show, the Break It Down show, we had just recorded episode number 3. And I knew Juan from way back. So I was at Dwayne Wiggins' house.
Okay.
We had just finished recording episode number 3. And I saw Juan. Actually, Dwayne said, hey, what are you guys doing later? It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, I don't know. What should we be doing later, Dwayne? Levi's going to be here later. Do you guys know Levi? I was like, no, I do not know Levi. I would like to meet Levi. I will come back later. What time? He said, an hour. So I said, okay, I'm going to go get some chicken wings or something and come back in an hour. So I came back in an hour. We walked in the sound stage. The band's setting up. And I'm not trying to get in the way and stuff and didn't want to interrupt anybody. So I was just hanging back. And then I saw Juan. So I walked up, Juan, what's up, man? We played together years ago. And he goes, yeah, I remember you. What's going on? So we exchanged pleasantries. I said, man, I'm doing this podcast. And you would be a fantastic guest on this podcast. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. That was episode 3 we just did that day. Yeah, I'll do it, man. We just put up episode 457. And this is the first time I've been able to get Juan to sit still for 1 hour. So this podcast is a long time coming. The other reason...
I remember that day.
I'm giving you a hard time, but what do you remember about that day?
I remember...
Because then I'll tell you what I remember about that day.
You're doing the interview with Dwayne Wiggins. I was at a studio, I believe, and we were rehearsing for something. I was playing with the Tony for a award show that was coming up.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you what he paid me because I was upset. But anyway, that was a long time ago. I looked at an envelope and I said, "Really?" But anyway,
Hopefully he's made up for it since then.
yeah. If not, then he's about to because he still owed me from that day. So yeah, I remember you doing that, and I said, yeah, I would do it soon.
Yeah.
And I said next week, whatever.
Like
That's why I'm laughing. Yeah, it was, and then. But you never gave up. You kept calling.
I kept calling him. Yeah, man, we'll do it. I'm going on the road. I'll be back. Okay, I'm gonna call you when you get back.
But I meant well.
Yeah, no, and here we are.
And I'm not a liar. It's just I'm busy.
Yeah.
For 3.5 years, I've been busy.
No, but here's 2 things that make this important, man. This is a monumentous occasion for 2 reasons. Number one, at that time, I had not played drums for probably 15 years. Honestly, had not touched my sticks. My drums were stacked up in cases, put away. My son became very serious playing baseball. And so all I did was just support his baseball career, take him to baseball tournaments all year long. Our family we didn't even go on vacations. We just went to baseball tournaments.
Wow.
So, and then motherfucker quit playing baseball. But that's another story. The thing that happened, though, that day was the drummer had called. It wasn't Tony. It was something else you guys were rehearsing for, but it was Levi was doing something. Leah was there. That was the night I met Leah, too.
Oh, okay.
And you guys were, maybe it was a Warriors game when you used to play the Warriors games. I don't know, it was something.
You're right. We're rehearsing for the Warriors game. Me, Levi Caesar, Leah, Tysse.
It was another female singer.
And the drummer wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he wasn't there yet, but he had called Levi, and everybody was set up, and it was like, okay, we're starting at 5.
Talking about being late, see?
And so he called Levi, and he was like, yeah, man, it was some airport traffic or whatever, because the place by the airport, he was like, it's some airport traffic. Man, I'll be like 10 minutes. And so Levi hung up the phone and said, well, he's going to be another 10 minutes. And Juan goes, he plays the drums. And I'm just standing there like I hadn't touched the drumstick in 15 years and just got called out. But then,
homie, you froze up like
what?
a deer in the headlight. You like
I was.
me?
I was in there.
I'm like, yeah, you're playing
Oh,
drums.
guess what? You played the drums. And then it was like, well, what are we playing? It was some song, and I was like, I'd never even heard that song before. I don't have any idea how that song goes. So whatever. Just
I said, just play a groove.
Backbeat on 2 and 4. That's all you got to do. And that is literally all I could do. I had no. But guess what? I'm playing again.
Good.
And that's what did it.
Wait, but that same story. So well, I remember your face when you got on the drum. First, you like, I'm playing drum. Levi said, "Is there one?" And because you had just told me you played drum.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how good you were. It didn't matter. We needed a group.
Yeah.
So you got up on the drums. I looked at you. You look like, what the heck am I doing?
That was.
Why do you do this to me?
But what do you say? You don't say no.
You don't say no. Yeah.
Yeah.
But homie, you did fine. It was cool.
Well, you know what happened was I got in the car and we drove away, and I was like, man, I can't believe I just did that. That was terrible. And then my co-host Pete was like, they probably thought it was terrible. I thought it was terrific. And I was like, okay, well, one person in there thought it was terrific. And then, but what it did was it lit the fire back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then, I just started playing again. And then it took, I had to spend some time in the shed and just kind of get my meter together. But about 3 weeks ago, and I wasn't playing with anybody. It was just, but in the meantime, I'm doing this podcast. So far on the podcast, we've had J.R. Robinson. We've had, Rich been on the show a couple times. We've had Rick Murata's been on a couple times. Stuart Copeland's been on. I mean, we've had a ton of drummers.
Wow.
Because, you know how I chase people down.
Yeah.
So I've been in contact with a lot of my people I listened to growing up and who helped me make sense of the drums. And about 3 weeks ago now, I was with my co-host Pete, who now lives in Orange County. His girlfriend and him were taking me, and we were meeting my wife to go eat dinner. And on the way there, his girlfriend was like, "Oh, do you know Denise? I'm going to stop by Denise's Pilates studio real quick." And I was like, "Okay, I don't, Besides, I was in the passenger seat, so I was going wherever she was going. And we go into this place, and it's a Pilates studio in a warehouse in Benicia. And there's these 3 guys playing and a drum set with nobody sitting at it.
Wow.
Yeah. So they played a song. I'm not going to jump up. I just met these people. And they were like, yeah, they clearly had been rehearsing and stuff. They knew the song. And they were like, well, how'd it sound? And I was like, well, it sound better if you had a drummer. Is anybody playing? And they said, play.
Wow.
So I did. We hit it off. We've been playing twice a week ever since.
Really?
We'll be gigging this summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it at Yoshi's Monday, March 11th?
No,
because
Juan Escovedo's 60th birthday is at Yoshi's on March 11th. 8 o'clock show. 8 o'clock on a Monday. You can make that. You'll be home in bed in all the right ways.
But when you're at Yoshi's, I'm coming.
Okay.
And I'm going to be on the guest list, right?
Oh, of course, man.
Okay.
Come on. First of all, you finally have done the Break It Down show.
Finally.
Something I've been waiting on for a long time, and it's been worth every minute. Also, you reignited my playing of the drums. I don't even know how profoundly you've affected my life and how to ever show you the gratitude for that.
Oh, that's so cool.
I can't.
Well, that makes
couldn't
me
possibly.
happy. Yeah.
And third of all, and the other point that I want to make in the fact that you have done this is that at some point long ago, you said something to me that was profound to my ability to hear music differently. And we all should, as musicians, hope that we could touch somebody like that wherever we go. So I just want to acknowledge that you've done that.
Cool.
And that we've been on the mic for more than an hour.
But I want to say something else. We have time?
We got all, I mean,
Okay. I forgot to say that we just have the E family series of percussions instruments that's from LP. We used to be with Toka.
Yeah.
But now we're with LP. So we just did a video recording last week in LA.
I gotta throw away my tokas that I bought years ago. Buy some
No,
more
keep
keys.
them though.
I'm just kidding.
Those I have a set too that I practice with. They stay in the house. But
you don't let a camera point at them.
No. But I bring out my E Family Series LP congas. Those are in the garage, packed, always ready for the gig.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I use. They're so good, though. They're two-tone wood, and they'll be out hopefully soon in music stores. So you'll be able to buy some E Family percussion stuff.
And I imagine it's a wide range all the way through the percussion spectrum.
Yeah.
So that no matter what part of the stage you're on and what percussion you're reaching for, you can reach for and grab E Family percussion. It's about time.
It is.
Honestly.
We've been trying for years.
Yeah.
But it's perfect timing because...
And Remo makes your heads.
I endorse Remo heads,
Yeah.
Zildjian cymbals, Zildjian drumsticks, now LP percussion, impact cases. I'm sure there's more.
All the way to the cases and the shoelaces, man.
You know what's cool, though? I never bought a percussion anything because my father always had percussion stuff, and then Sheila, and then eventually I had my own endorsement.
Now I'm hitting the stop button because he's getting annoying. Now, you never
Now I'm
bought a
bragging.
percussion anything.
Now I'm bragging. Yeah.
That's true.
Nothing.
Wow.
And when I found out how much they cost, I'm like, dang, I better take better care of my stuff. They're expensive.
Yes.
But they last forever,
Well, if you take care of them,
You take
they
care of
will
them.
bring you years and years and years of joy. When are you going to put out a solo CD?
I'm working on one now.
Are you?
I've been working on it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think it's been like 7 years. Me and my friend Michael Angel Alvarado. He's from San Jose, but now he moved to L.A. I think he's been there 8 years. But anyway, we've been working on the songs, and then I had some nice songs, and then the E Family CD was coming out.
Yeah.
So I gave him 2 of those songs that was going to be on my solo album. And then when we were writing, it was too much jazz or Latin, I felt. And then it was too much R&B. Because coming from Oakland, man, you listen to everything.
Yeah.
So I kept writing. Me and Michael Angel kept writing. So now I had like 30 songs that I really like. And then I picked the best 10 out of those 30. So now I'm in the studio now, actually. So I did 3 of them already with my sister, Sheila E, playing drums, myself, and a couple of studio guys in L.A. So I'm going to go back next month and do another 3.
Okay.
So there's 10 songs I'm getting done. And
Where are you doing it?
at the Raphael Sadiq studio
Okay.
in L.A. So El DeBarge promised me, I'm going to put it on the air. He promised me he was going to sing
Come on, Al.
one song. He actually called me recently and said, Juan, I'm ready.
Oh, boy.
And I said, okay,
You got to capture it.
yeah. And I said, I have the song for you. And he goes, okay. And I said, you want me to send it to you so, you can fill it out, see if you like it. And he goes, yeah, that'd be cool, but I want to write a song with you. Like,
Okay.
let me and you do a song together. And I said, and I'm thinking, yes, of course.
Yeah,
What
the
I'm going to
answer
say,
to that
no to El
question is
DeBarge.
yes.
I'm going to say, and I'm thinking, what can I do to help this boy? He writes all these hits. And I said, I'm just going to do it, bring in
Show up and bring a happy vibe.
a happy vibe. And,
That's like if Juan Escovedo says he plays the drums, you say, yes,
yeah,
that's true.
that's exactly right.
I do. So then,
So Al, because I actually was a musical director for him a couple of shows and stuff. And I've
Okay.
been playing with him for off and on 20 years.
yeah.
I know El DeBarge for a long time.
Yeah.
We actually met on, let's see, there's a TV show, I think it was American Bandstand, something like that.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Or it was, of
course.
what was that other show? But we were doing a TV show, and he was walking by, and I'm like, that's El DeBarge, And we started talking, and then we exchanged numbers right then and there, and
Yeah.
we've been friends ever since.
Huh. I know Rich plays with him sometimes, too.
Yeah.
I imagine you guys have played with him together. at
Every
some
time he's at Yoshi's, he calls me. He
calls you.
says, "Come on down and play."
Sure.
I said, okay.
point. That's cool. I'm glad he's holding up, man. He's had a rough go
doing-
of it, too.
Yeah, he's doing good. He looked good last time I seen him.
That's good.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Put on some weight. Sing. That boy can sing
Man.
regardless. I mean, he still hit them same notes like it's nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut us off because it's
Okay.
We're an hour and a half in.
Wow. It
We
doesn't
could
seem
do
like
this
it.
all day.
We can.
And like I told you, if I get to an hour and if you're bored enough to stop before we get to an hour, I'm not doing it right.
But I'm getting paid per hour?
Will you come? Yes.
Okay.
Minute, actually.
Minute. Okay.
Man, you're gonna put me in the Dwayne category. You'll be like, man. Will you come back?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, we'll promote when your solo album does come out.
Oh, yes.
So one other thing that I want to not forget to say is that you are the second JE on this show who I appreciate and has had a musical effect on me. Our guest number 1, and he's been on the show about, I don't know, 10 or 15 more times since then, was James Early.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I know you've
love
worked with
James.
James as well, too.
I worked with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did In Vogue album.
That's right.
He was a producer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
That
I
was
yeah.
Funky Divas.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, go to Yoshi's, March 11th. Make sure you go to the show. It's Juan Escovedo's 60th birthday party. Park in the parking garage right next to beautiful Yoshi's on Jack London Square. Have a nice dinner. Get dressed up nice. Wear that special cologne. Take your ladies out, fellas, and enjoy it. Happy birthday, Juan. I'll see you.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon, man.
See you when I'm 60.